Certainty undermines one's power and turns happiness into a long shot. Certainty confines. Dears, there is nothing in your life that will not change, especially your ideas of God. Look what the insanity of righteous knowledge can do, crusade and maim thousands in wanting to convert that which is already gold into gold. Certainty becomes an illness that creates hate and greed. God once said to Tuka, "Even I am ever changing. I am ever beyond myself. What I may have once put my seal upon may no longer be the greatest truth." God once said to Tuka, "Even I am ever changing. I am ever beyond myself. What I may have once put my seal upon may no longer be the greatest truth." In Dogen's fascicle Being Time, he says, "You may suppose that time is only passing away and not understand that time never arrives." Life is an expression of time and it's not arriving. We and all beings are always in a simultaneous process of coming together and falling apart. This is the nature of change. In my day-to-day experience, I act as though this world and its beings are solid, lasting, and independent. That I am solid, lasting, and independent. It's really interesting, actually. What I am shown over and over and over again is that everything changes and that everything flows. Yet over and over and over again, I act surprised when things end or change. My view of reality hinges on the notion of solidity, permanence, and autonomy. This shapes reality in a way that seems to be our effort, the human species' effort, to stay safe. We want to know the answers, to know what's next, to know what we want, and to know how to get it. So we are reminded over and over again that actually reality is flowing, impermanent, and interconnected. We are flowing, impermanent, and interconnected. This understanding can come about in practice and also when we experience great difficulty or loss. Sometimes the nature of change and impermanence is thrust upon us, ready or not. A dear friend, family member, or beloved pet dies suddenly, or we lose a job or a relationship ends. Any moment when the unexpected becomes the reality. And no matter how great the grief, nothing will stop for us. The black fire of impermanence keeps burning. Our life continues to make its usual demands on us. The flow does not stop. This flow can be quite demanding, particularly in moments of great turmoil, inner turmoil, and it is also the very thing that will liberate us. We are not stuck, as Hogen Roshi often says. Our grief will change and we will continue to transform. Evolving, changing, and interconnected. Things inter-are. You cannot have a long stick without a short stick. To have an atmosphere, you must have a planet. To see with the eyes, there must be something to see. There is no vision without the objects of vision. All the sense gates are like this. To hear, there must be sound. We enter are and in constant flow. This is true of Sunday program. Can't have a Sunday program without guests, without a building, without a monastery, without a make-believe idea of time and things starting at a particular hour. It all has to be in order for anything to be. This recognition is actually quite vulnerable to rest in this. It is because of everything that we are anything at all. In order for me to be, I need you to be. And what I call myself only exists as a relationship with everything else. And time never arrives. The idea of arrival seems to be a major delusion of our species. And there are many levels to this. I can look at my own expectations and see that most of my projections of the future are related to the hope of arrival. As soon as the weekend comes, as soon as Zazen begins or ends, or the next session starts, or the next session ends, the breakfast dishes are done, as soon as my friend texts me, or as soon as that person says just the right thing, or I get that job, then I will arrive. And I think it's really important to stay connected with what it is we think we will arrive at. Because we can know this truth and lose contact with it over and over and over and over again. The next thing comes and we're like, oh, I'll arrive now that I get this thing. I know that other thing, it wasn't true, but this next one, this one's definitely true. So what is it that I'm hoping for? Another way we might grasp at arrival is when we find ourselves in a particularly pleasant or spacious state of mind. Yes, I will stay right here. In Zazen, I will stay here. I've arrived at this state. This is a good thing. And then we suffer when it changes. Potentially we suffer, we don't have to. I think that is an option. Time does not arrive. Beings do not arrive. Myoyu will not ever arrive. On a biological level, this is true. I am simultaneously coming together and falling apart before your very eyes, shedding skin cells and making fresh ones, cells being born and dying, blood and lymph and digestive fluids, sweat and saliva, all in constant flux. Up here giving this talk. It's kind of an interesting perspective to look out at the meat bodies out here. All constantly changing. Each one of us a biological miracle. Flowing, impermanent, and interconnected. Here's another section from Dogen's Being Time. Do not think flowing is like wind and rain moving from east to west. The entire world is not unchangeable, is not immovable. It flows. Flowing is like spring. Spring with all its numerous aspects is called flowing. When spring flows, there is nothing outside of spring. Study this in detail. Spring invariably flows through spring. Although flowing itself is not spring, flowing occurs throughout spring. Thus, flowing is completed at just this moment of spring. Examine this thoroughly, coming and going. One more time. Do not think flowing is like wind and rain moving from east to west. The entire world is not unchangeable, is not immovable. It flows. Flowing is like spring. Spring, with all its numerous aspects, is called flowing. When spring flows, there is nothing outside of spring. Study this in detail. Spring invariably flows through spring. Although flowing itself is not spring, flowing occurs throughout spring. Thus, flowing is completed at just this moment of spring. Examine this thoroughly, coming and going. On one level, this is just really beautiful poetry, and we can just enjoy it at that and not have to drag the conceptual mind in and try and understand exactly what Dogen is saying. But an important perspective for me to take is when he says the entire world, I want to make sure that I'm including myself in that. So if you notice that you believe yourself to be an observer of a world, that I am this observer, solid, lasting, and independent, and here is this flowing world. Oh yes, I see spring flowing. Can you be spring flowing? Can you be part of the flowing spring? We're asked to relax the position of observer. I'm looking at Miles. That might be quite hard for people who are writers. But maybe as a writer, you just flow into your characters. The entire world is not unchangeable, is not immovable. So you are the entire world, flowing like spring, as spring. And you and the entire world will never arrive. I can recognize that just in the sound of the birds. As soon as I hear it, it's gone. They might call again, but it's a totally different call, totally new. So let's take a moment to each watch the non-arrival of thoughts and sensations. As soon as a thought comes, can you hold it? It's already gone, and where was it in the first place? And even if you're sitting there really uncomfortable, the sensations of discomfort change. The relationship you have to discomfort changes. For a moment, it's all-consuming, and then you think about lunch and you totally forget about your knee, even just for a second, and then come back. And it's different. And maybe the thought of Sunday lunch is persistent, but each time it comes back, it's different. It changes and can't be held onto. Changes in its intensity and duration. Sitting here for a moment more, just feeling into the body as it changes. The body as a field of changing sensation. Watching thoughts just flow, impermanent. Feeling into the tingling sensation of the hands. You can even just watch awareness move and change. Or your attention move and change. Watch our ability to experience change. Comes and goes. The experience of your seat on the cushion. How is that changing? Dogen, you may suppose that time is only passing away and not understand that time never arrives. There are many practical applications to recognizing our inability to arrive. Hogen Roshi is continuously reminding us that we are not stuck. That whatever the grief or the turmoil or even the joy, it will too shall pass. Again, this desire to arrive. Once I get the right amount of sleep, once I find the right practice community, once I get the right diet or partner or job, then I will arrive somehow in a space of everlasting perfection and satisfaction. Can take just a minute to think about the things that come up for you, like what is it that you reach for and feel like, oh, that's the thing, that's what's going to get me there. Does anyone want to share one or two? Just shout it out.
When work is less stressful.
That's a good one, yeah.
You mentioned diet, so when diet is more healthy is right.
So we had when, just for the online people, when work is less stressful, and then when the diet is right. One more?
When the sunshine is here.
Oh, yes. I have that one all the time. When the sunshine is here, that's particularly relevant for us in the Pacific Northwest. So we often pin this desire to arrive on the outer world, on the material world, the car, the relationship, the food, whatever, the sun. But it's actually the state of mind that we're after. And the objects are just a means to an end. I want to feel good. I want to attain, arrive at a perpetual state of satisfaction. And I look out at the cloudy day, at the bad diet, at the whatever, at the stress, out at this modern world. I'm told that the shiny things are best. I look out and I try to find and hold on to the objects that produce the most satisfying state of mind. It's the state of mind we're after. This happens, of course, in practice too. I sit down with a subtle or not so subtle desire for a particular state of mind. I sit down to Zazen and think, I want to arrive at deep samadhi and bliss. Give me lots of bliss, and then I will arrive. And I look around for whatever tools I have to arrive there. And it's interesting, when I was writing this, I also recognized the mind that doesn't want to arrive at deep samadhi, the mind that just says, I want to arrive wherever it is that will distract me from any kind of discomfort I have. So whatever it takes, like perpetual distraction or disassociation, whatever it takes that I don't have to face this, then I will arrive. It's the state of mind we're after. Whatever we reach for in hopes of attaining, arriving at a particular state of mind, arriving at satisfaction. I've been contemplating two types of satisfaction. Petty dissatisfaction and great dissatisfaction. Petty dissatisfaction is the day-to-day negative mind states I can sometimes carry around. It can have the sensation for me of dragging my feet. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to get out of bed. That person is wrong or bad or should be nicer or different. It has a flavor of useless complaint. And it can just be this like running dialogue that maybe is subtle but just sort of present. The favor of generalized aversion to experience, or kind of a generalized just like sour attitude. And like I said, that mind state can just be running all the time without us even noticing that it's there. And or maybe we do notice it, but we don't notice it enough to actually act on it. So part of our practice is to really quiet down enough that we see it clearly and can do something about it. So with practice, we gain the ability to take responsibility for our mind. And the mind stream is really important. It's not just what we say to each other or how we act. It's what we're thinking actually is the fruits of our speech and action are from our thought stream. So we got to clean up our thoughts. Negative thinking will reveal itself in time. Petty dissatisfaction is the wheel of samsara. It has no beginning or end, and no means to stop itself. So just can go on and on. Great dissatisfaction, on the other hand, is synonymous with what we call great doubt. While petty dissatisfaction can feel at times juicy or righteous, like that person is wrong or bad and I am not wrong or bad like them, and I have this kind of righteousness, or it feels kind of good to differentiate myself between the world of like, that's wrong, I'm not doing it, so therefore I'm good. And that's just one example. Great dissatisfaction is actually what leads us to practice, so that's part of how we distinguish. Great dissatisfaction will not settle for another night of Netflix or hours on Instagram. That's not going to feed it. Great dissatisfaction is the fire that burns in our hearts and leads us to seek a greater truth. And perhaps this great dissatisfaction is inspired by the lesser constant flow of aversion, but it's what really, like, from this, the great questions in life arise. The questions of what am I doing here? How do I want to be in the world? And it's what brings us to spiritual practice. It's what brings us to Sunday program, to monastic life, however spiritual practice manifests for you. Great dissatisfaction demands that we open our view, that we ask interesting questions and keep asking them, and not settle for simple answers. I wish I could say some people come to spiritual practice from great joy and connection, but most of us come to practice because we're confused and dissatisfied. So keep that alive, whatever you want to call it. Keep that great doubt alive. Don't let it be buried. And there's so many things that in our modern world that can bury it. There's so many ways to tune out. So grow restless with it. Stay up all night with it. Let the fire of these burning questions direct your life. And let that fire become the light that wakes you up. This poem is called The Essence of Desire by St. John of the Cross. I did not have to ask my heart what it wanted, because all of the desires I have ever known, just one did I cling to, for it was the essence of all desire, to hold beauty in my soul's arms. I did not have to ask my heart what it wanted, because all of the desires I have ever known, just one did I cling to, for it was the essence of all desire, to hold beauty in my soul's arms. I did not have to ask my heart what it wanted, because all the desires I have ever known, just one did I cling to, for it was the essence of all desire, to hold beauty in my soul's arms.